Hello and welcome back to EAC, and today I'm here with my friend Ben.
Hi.
And we just made a review on The Lighthouse. If you haven't seen that, you might want to watch that video. Especially if you haven't seen the movie, definitely watch that video. That video is spoiler free. But in this video, we are going to be talking about theories and spoilers, a bunch of scenes in the movie that we are going to be spoiling. So if you haven't seen the movie, go watch my review, which is spoiler free, or just go watch the movie and come back and watch this video.
This is basically an analysis video.
Yeah, a short analysis versus like my Joker video, which I went all in, like a 17-minute video about that. But yeah, so in this video we're going to be talking about some of the scenes and different possible endings for the Lighthouse that we just wanted to talk about. And again, spoiler warning for anyone who has not seen the movie. So I think we should start off with one of the most awkward scenes to sit through with my parents there. You want to say it or should I?
Jacking off.
You might have already seen this if you look up The Lighthouse and go to the news section, at least when we did, which was
it's like the headline if you just Google The Lighthouse.
Yeah, there was a scene when both Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe were jacking off.
Well, we don't know what Willem.
Yeah, we don't know about.
We don't know what the heck was going on.
I mean, this is a gross thing to talk about, but
we kind of have to. It's such a big
Robert Pattinson. If you've seen the movie, then you know what we're talking about. But Robert Pattinson is like looking above and it's like a grate, so it's kind of like see through, and you can see Willem Dafoe
like literally naked,
yeah.
Looking into the lighthouse. So obviously the light has some sort of trans or something.
Yeah,
and
like they're
all of a sudden
he's
there's something going on.
Yeah.
Like some magic sorcery behind it. But anyway, he's kind of. We're inferring that he may have been doing the deed. We don't know. But all of a sudden, you just see the slimy thing come down the grate. And Robert Pattinson kind of just looks at it like, what the hell is going on? But then all of a sudden, as we're all like, oh, that's nasty. All of a sudden, you just see a tentacle fly across up there. So at first, I was kind of laughing. I'm like, oh, that's funny. Also, I see a tentacle. I'm like, wait, what? And that's kind of like the first inference that, okay, stuff's gonna go down.
It's like they're starting to hallucinate and actually go crazy, just like in The Shining, which we also did a review on. Like, you can kind of tell when they actually start to go insane in there. Like, right there, a lot of different hallucinations in this movie. And also Robert Pattinson has two scenes like that.
Supposedly he actually did it.
Yeah, he actually did it.
Yeah, like they just videotaped him actually doing it.
Yeah, which is that's dedication, but also kind of with my parents there. Rest assured, it was a bit awkward, and maybe don't see this with your parents. We literally couldn't because it was rated R. We couldn't get into the theater. But moving past that, also, there is a scene with the mermaid.
The sex scene? Which scene? There's like 5. There are
multiple with the mermaid. I'm not talking about the part when. Well, I am talking about this part, but not this part of the actual scene. When he goes outside, Robert Pattinson goes outside, and he sees the mermaid, like, covered in seaweed, and he, like, takes away the seaweed and, like, undresses the mermaid, who's, like, a pretty big part in this movie. And it was actually after that part when the mermaid, like, opens its mouth and almost sounds like a seagull. We'll get to the seagull part in a minute.
Oh, God.
And that was a really terrifying scene, I thought. No jump scare noises, just her, like, screeching, almost like a seagull. I can't tell if they use the sound
effects. 2 ear rape scenes that were just like...
Yes, I want to get to that part, too. Yeah. But yeah, that was a really terrifying scene. The mermaid comes back a lot in the movie. Also, later on with the seagull, or I think this might have been before the seagull, before the mermaid part. The seagull, he takes a seagull by the neck or...
The feet.
Yeah, the feet.
Ragdoll.
And literally smashes it across, like, the, whatever it was, like, the little deck thing that he was working on. A seagull flew up, and it was kind of been trolling him throughout the whole movie. And Willem Dafoe said earlier, like, oh, it's bad luck, don't kill a seagull, when Robert Pattinson kind of got
into his head and kind of, I think, helped trigger the hallucinations. Or not trigger them, but, like, alter kind of what he was hallucinating about, I feel like.
Yeah, it's...
Adds to the paranoia.
A lot of the stuff that Willem Dafoe said, it's kind of like that may be the source of what he's kind of hallucinating.
The paranoia that he's having.
Yeah, and so he just straight murders a seagull, and it's very graphic. It's all in black and white, of course, so you can't see like actual blood colors, but it was still like pretty gory. Also with the last part, I'm just kind of jumping to this, but near the end, this is kind of the ending scene. Robert Pattinson, again, spoiler warning, I know we've already said it enough, but Robert Pattinson kills Willem Dafoe's character, goes up into the light part of the lighthouse, and touches the light, I guess.
And then
like
screams,
the door
like,
opens,
an ear
and he
rape.
screams, and it's like ear rape for
it's
like
not even like
20
a scream.
seconds.
It's like one of those It's like one of those like mega bass screams.
And
that,
he's like, his face is like all dirty and stuff. But as he keeps on screaming, I feel like it was like getting lighter. I don't know if it was just me, but I think
the
his
light
face
was
like,
brighting.
yeah, it was brightening, and like his face was becoming almost dead white as he was screaming, and that was terrifying.
I don't know what exactly that scene was about, but then it cut to him just killing himself by having the birds eat him alive.
Yeah, he was just outside laying down, and like the seagulls. I really want to say this in the actual review, but the seagulls earlier in the movie, of course, he killed the seagull, and now at the end of the movie, they literally come back to bite him, and they kind of eat him apart. And that was obviously with the bad luck part. And I really want to talk about a scene when Willem Dafoe says that the old lighthouse keeper, he thought that the light had an enchantment, I think is what he said. It was in the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And how he says that he went insane and how he died. And we see flashes, I think 1 or 2 flashes, definitely 2 or more, flashes of Willem Dafoe as a younger person.
Yeah, younger.
The younger version of him. And I was kind of like, who is that guy? Because you could see like a back shot at one point, like it's behind him, and you're like, who is that guy? But then
it wasn't
you
until
see
the fight
his face.
scene.
Yeah, a fight scene near the end.
Scene.
You see his face, and it's like, oh, that's Willem Dafoe when he was like,
then he turns into
younger.
The tentacle barnacle.
Yeah, like
Poseidon.
the mermaid.
The Poseidon,
thing.
and then
it turns into a mermaid, and then.
So I think that kind of said, all right, it was kind of screaming at you. It's a hallucination. He's hallucinating.
Sorry guys, my other camera ran out of batteries. We had to switch real quick. But anyways, back to Willem Dafoe as a young guy. You kind of start to realize when that pops up near the end. You're kind of putting things together, at least I was, because as I said, it's open-ended. You looked up like some other things from
there are
how
multiple
I thought
theories
when
of the endings. I'm going with that after the part where he gets kind of drunk and they miss the ship, that's where the paranoia starts, and then he starts drinking more and more.
Yeah.
I think that's why he was scared of drinking, was because he may have had this in the past, hallucinations. And then as he gets more drunker and all this other stuff, I feel like it's just hallucinations the entire time for the rest of the movie. And he just goes insane and everything's like bigger than it really is.
Yeah.
Except the light
kind of like
part.
exaggerations almost.
The light
that
part,
seeing.
I can't defend though, because I have no clue what the light is.
Yeah. It's like, I think the light part actually happened, like he actually got up there.
He definitely did. Everything
and like
happened.
he screamed, but then it just cut to him like outside, just like dying from the seagulls. But anyways, back to young Willem Dafoe. He said earlier in the movie how his old lighthouse keeper, thought the light was an enchantment and stuff like that. And Robert Pattinson literally mirrors that character that we don't even see, we just hear about. And he almost plays the same part as that person would have if we seen young Willem Dafoe with that guy. And that's kind of the flashes, what I think. We see flashes of younger Willem Dafoe when he around, you could kind of guess the time range when he had the younger lighthouse keeper, like the one before Robert Pattinson. And you kind of get almost like a flashback to him and how he's kind of living through, like Robert Pattinson, there's one part when Robert Pattinson is like beating him up, and you see a flash of young Willem Dafoe, and it's just like, Willem Dafoe's character is kind of like reliving that almost, because that's already happened to him, and then Robert Pattinson literally plays the same thing that Willem Dafoe told him about how his other lighthouse keeper was like, he believed that there's some enchantment in the light. He goes up there because he's really been wanting to go up there the whole movie.
He wants to know what it's about.
Yeah, and then he kills Willem Dafoe to get up there, and then he dies, so you could kind of think it's almost like a continuous run,
Except
almost.
it ended there, because now they're dead.
Yeah, but I almost thought for a second that Willem Dafoe, like, already died. The same exact thing has happened to him. Like, his old lighthouse keeper killed him, but now he's back almost older, and he has another new lighthouse keeper, Robert Pattinson, and then that happens again, and it's just like, an insane kind of loophole of, them going insane with the light and stuff. And that's kind of how I interpret it. I don't know if, like, he actually died and then was again another lighthouse keeper and then Robert Pattinson's there, but definitely I think this is my theory, I think the part how he told him about the old lighthouse keeper and Robert Pattinson kind of became that guy, and that's why we got the flashes of younger Willem Dafoe as a lighthouse keeper. So
just a weird movie overall.
Just a weird, strange movie that I could kind of understand why my parents didn't like it. But this was really ballsy. Like, he put a lot of stuff in this movie that a lot of directors, I feel like, wouldn't do it.
He went full on force. Like, he knew that people might have been bored by it, they might have been disturbed by it, it may just come off as stupid, it may come off as great. It was a leap of faith.
Yeah, it really was. I didn't really expect that, because in an interview, he said, like, I don't really want to make audiences feel like I'm doing something like that here. So I was like, So I was like, it's kind of gonna be like The Witch, which The Witch was, like, disturbing as all hell, but it wasn't as bad as this movie.
It was doing its job.
Yeah, so I thought it would be like that, but he went, like, full out, and I really respect that about how he made this movie.
The actors did too.
Yeah, the actors. I mean,
everyone
Robert
was
Pattinson,
on board.
Yeah, I'm really glad that they really dedicated themselves to these roles.
Because you have to.
Robert Eggers
if you don't, then it just comes off as stupid and funny.
Yeah, Robert Pattinson literally jacked off on camera, and they literally filmed him doing it. That was real. Guys, that was real. That was on, like, a news feed when you look up The Lighthouse or Robert Pattinson, The Lighthouse or something.
Imagine the director going, all right, Robert, do your job.
All right, Rob, do it.
He goes into the film room, and he's just reading it, and then they're like, all right, today's the day. You have to do that. That's a one-take thing. You can't just do that.
I know. That's like...
takes. You have to, like, wait a couple hours after that.
I know. I think of this about other movies, like, how a lot of, like, awkward scenes in other movies, how when the actors or actresses, like, looked at the script and went, wait, I have to do that. Like, imagine, like, a sex scene in a movie, and it's like, okay, so you place your hand on her boobs.
The screenplay?
And, like, yeah, like, screenplays like that. I wonder what Robert Pattinson thought about that, but he was dedicated to it, and it worked out.
You're gonna have sex with a mermaid and jack off twice on
a lot of flashes with that, too. Him, like, having sex with a mermaid.
That was big for the hallucination part.
Yeah.
Mainly. A lot of it was just for the hallucination part.
Willem Dafoe in this movie has a bad leg, like a broken leg or something. So
they
near the end,
to it a lot.
Yeah. So near the end, like, he's running around, and it's just, like, I saw that in the trailer, too, and I was like, oh, that looks scary, and it's literally someone's disability, like, oh, they have a broken leg, but he just made it scary. He's running with an axe, almost like The Shining as well.
I almost felt like this movie was to pay homage to The Shining, almost, with some of the scenes, like, they kind of purposely took from The Shining.
Yeah, it's almost like, I mean, I'm not comparing the two, like, oh, it's just like it, because it's not. It's obviously, like, kind of a, they're trapped on a lighthouse.
Style,
yeah, they can't. No one can make a movie like this and you can't not compare it to a movie like The Shining when they're trapped on one location and they start to go insane. That's like this movie, but I mean, they're very different, obviously. A lot of the scenes are very different, but yeah, it is kind of like almost like a really rough template of The Shining and just the mood that The Shining gives you as well. Also, I want to talk about the comedy in some parts. I kind of said this in the review. A lot of fart jokes near the beginning. A lot of, like, even though that's kind of silly, in a lot of, like, anime movies, you're like, a fart joke. Or, like, an Adam Sandler movie. Like, the trailer we saw the trailer for Uncut Gems, and Adam Sandler, he looks
vicious.
Maybe, like, not.
I'm not sure if this
regular
I'm not
Adam
sure
Sandler.
if this is a downgrade or a glow up.
But anyways, back to the Lighthouse. So yeah, a lot of scenes that we really want to talk about, as well as the ending, different theories. You said one thing about Willem Dafoe kind of having kind of wanted to get a bit closer.
Sexually attracted to Robert Pattinson, so he purposely got them blackout drunk so they'd purposely miss the ship and that he could spend more time together.
I'm not taking it as that. Like, I don't think that's what happened.
Although the kissing scene was...
They didn't kiss.
They almost did.
And well,
They almost.
But they're, again, blackout drunk. They're, like, another funny scene how they're just hugging each other and, like, spinning around. It's just, like...
Dark humor. It was a good movie, and the expectations
Not how
I
you
had
thought it
going
was.
into it wasn't how I thought it was, but I also wasn't disappointed necessarily.
Yeah. That was kind of like me. I don't know why, because The Witch is, like, obviously very different and very disturbing as well, but this is not your average horror movie. If you think it is, you should not go see this movie, because even we were a bit surprised and we knew how messed up it would be.
Mm-hmm.
As I said in the review, like, I thought Joker was messed up. And
it wasn't
crazy.
Like, it was just messed up.
There's one scene that I was like, I don't know, I was really, like, captured by, I guess, because it was just really weird. But, Robert Pattinson this is another, like, hallucination cutscene. He's, like, reaching for a guy who has his face, like,
he
turned
somehow
away.
gets up there.
And then he sees himself turns around, so there are, like, two Robert Pattinsons. And then behind them is, like, a butt-ass naked Willem Dafoe who is, like, going like this or something. He was just, like, saying that
light
or something.
up eyes.
And then his eyes, like, light up with the light of the lighthouse. I thought that was a really, like, not like, oh my god, that's so scary, but just, like, that's really weird and really unsettling that it's scary.
The cinematography, like how they got that shot, that was crazy.
So I think we got out most of the spoilers and the theories that we wanted to. We mostly almost just kind of wanted to talk about the ending and, like, how it's open-ended.
What do you think the light is supposed to mean necessarily?
I think it's
because it definitely
like,
has a meaning. It's definitely not just a light.
Yeah, like it's a lighthouse.
That
so there has to be a light.
hypnotizes them, and they jack off to the light. Oh wow!
I think back to we and two of our other friends, John made a review on The Shining, but I feel like they almost were like Jack in that movie was already unhinged. Like, he was already kind of crazy. Willem Dafoe he's been there for so long that he's already, like, kind of crazy.
And Robert Pattinson already, we know, has a dark past off the beginning.
Back to you, like, with the drinking, how that kind of, like, sets them off. I feel like the light is just, when, I can't relate to this, but, like, in a movie when you're high.
If you're watching
a movie scene, like, this is
Coco,
the end.
Coco.
Oh, yeah.
Well, like that one Day of the Dead scene, like, if you're watching this off acid, then you're gonna trip out.
Yeah, don't do drugs, kids.
Don't do drugs. We haven't used drugs, but...
I meant a scene, like, in This Is the End, which is, like, one of my favorite comedy movies. When they get high, and they're, like, everything is, like, the frame rate is off. I feel like the light in this movie after they start drinking, because the whole movie is, like, all gloomy and kind of gray, but the light is just so bright at night when the bright is just obviously the brightest thing. And the two characters are just like, wow, the light. Like, and Robert Pattinson's like, I really want to see it because it's kind of almost like the most interesting
I wonder
thing
why that's why William Dafoe his character drinks before he goes up.
Yeah,
maybe perhaps.
Also, Robert Pattinson, he had, like, in the wheelbarrow before he went into the lighthouse to, like, I don't think he went up, but I think he tried to go up. This was before he got the keys. Mm-hmm. I think there's, like, a beer bottle, and then he drank from that. And I think, like, around there is when he went to, I don't know, we only saw it once, obviously, so we don't really know.
There's also the kerosene oil alcohol scene.
Oh, yeah, he takes a drink of
kerosene
beer.
Oil, mix it in with like water, and make alcohol.
Oh, yeah, that.
That was just, and they, like, eats the kerosene oil. And it's, like,
it was
nasty.
My grade for this movie, for The Lighthouse, is a 9.5. Yours was a 9.
So you can see where we were going with this necessarily.
We obviously recommend the movie, but not if you're just going to be like, oh, it's a fun horror movie. Like, there are kids in my, in Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark and It Chapter 2, like, the theater, who are just, like, you could tell that they went there just so they can laugh at it, because it's a horror movie, especially Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Like, the title, as well as it's being PG-13, like, oh, we could go see this movie just to spend the time. Like, this movie...
It's meant for, like, date nights where you're not trying to pay attention type thing. It's just, like, casually watching.
Yeah, but this movie, everyone was, like, really quiet, and they're respectful.
You were watching it to watch it.
Yeah, you knew that people were there. Same with Joker as well. I know you didn't see the movie.
I haven't seen it yet.
But in my theater for the Joker, I saw it twice. It was really quiet because people knew that this was, like, a more serious. And
you were watching it to watch it, and, like,
instead of not just like The Lighthouse or Joker is not a movie to just be like, oh, want to see the movie? Oh, I don't care what it is. You went to it to see, the actual what was going to happen, and you were kind of disturbed by both those movies, in fact.
Yeah.
So, obviously we're recommending The Lighthouse for the right viewer, aka not my parents. But thank you all so much for watching this video. This theory
explanation.
Yeah,
theory
explanation
video.
almost. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. Leave me your thoughts in the comments about the Lighthouse. Spoiler free. You can, or not spoiler free. You could say spoilers in the comments because our review was spoiler free. But yeah, you could go all out in the comment section talking about whatever about the Lighthouse that you liked, disliked, anything about it. But anyways, thank you all so much for watching this video here. I hope you all enjoyed it, and hopefully we will see you all next time. Goodbye.
Bye.